Okay, welcome to yet another episode of Critical Weight Theory. And today we're opening up the cartoon time capsule. And we're going to rewind and spotlight an animated gem that shaped generations. Well, theoretically, anyway. I don't know how many people have actually seen this one, but presumably some people have. So today we're saddling up for a lesser known but no less charming ride through Goofy's golden era. That's right, we're looking at a Disney short. And this is, I gotta admit, is the first time I've ever watched a Goofy movie. Well, a short movie. But it's not a character that I'm particularly familiar with as far as experiencing as a story element, I guess. So, They're Off is a 1948 Disney short that might have slipped under your radar, but it's got enough whimsy and winks to earn a spot in the Goofy Hall of Fame. And it's something that I would recommend to watch, if you want to experience the early days of Goofy as a character. First off, yep, it stars Goofy. I've already said that, but he's definitely a big favorite of Disney fans. Lanky, a lovable klutz, and well, Goofy. But this isn't your standard Goofy yelling "Gorsh" or doing that iconic holler that's a little bit strange and sometimes freakish. This one's a little bit different. It's more about the theme, the humorous horse race theme. And They're Off, Goofy plays the visual demonstrator to the words of a narrator, walking us through a parody of how to pick a winning horse at the races. It's framed as an instructional video, classic Goofy how to format, but with a twist, and leans even more into the physical comedy, keeping the narration snappy and the animation zany. So I'm sure you could already imagine the racetrack announcer, the horses galloping crazily, and the tension of who's going to win the race. And those elements are there in the episode. You get everything you'd expect from a late 40s Goofy short: Technicolor brilliance, cartoon slapstick that still lands, and a finale that sticks the landing, literally, with a wild, exaggerated, and there's a bit of a spoiler alert, I guess, but there's a photo finish gag in the episode. It's like a Looney Tunes moment channeled through Disney. Or maybe you could say that Looney Tunes ripped some of this kind of stuff off from Disney. I don't know. Whichever, you know, uh, sort of narrative you want to go with here. So, while Goofy doesn't unleash his trademark holler here, what it lacks in vocal quirks, it makes up for in the visual wit. Think exaggerated expressions, absurd outcomes, and the kind of comedic escalation that makes these one wheelers so watchable and rewatchable. And the photo finish thing is funny actually. I like that part of the cartoon. And even though I didn't see this as a kid, it did make me feel like a child again, so to speak. So, They're Off came out in January of 1948, part of Disney's post World War II push to get back into fun, fast content because, they were kind of making some war propaganda at the time of the war. So, those are some fun things to watch too. I'll probably at some point delve into those, and not just as far as Disney stuff goes, but other war propaganda content because it could be both fun, interesting, and informative. I might learn a few details, and I think that there is a lot of value to looking at these historical documents, because that's really what these are, actually. Well, I guess any movie is sort of a historical document. And these shorts were like animation snack packs around 6 minutes long, technicolor, and made to run before theatrical features. That's something that they used to do more often in movies. Now they just have sort of generic previews and actual advertisements in front of movies. I guess it's to make the movies a little bit more profitable, but still, I wish they had some more of these animated shorts like they used to do. And it might not be as famous as other goofy shorts like how to play football or how to swim. I think that's another one. Both of which I haven't watched, but I've heard of them. But Their Off is still a worthy entry. It captures a specific moment in Goofy's evolution from sidekick to solo act, and it blends cartoon logic with pseudo education. Then again, I gotta admit I'm not really that familiar with Goofy lore. Did he actually start off as a sidekick? I'm not quite sure. I I'm under the impression that he started off with a role as a sidekick to Mickey Mouse or something like that. But you can correct me gently if I was incorrect in that assumption. You don't have to shout angrily about it or something. In the comments, you can just say, "Oh, that's actually incorrect." You don't have to be weird about this. So if I get any of these details about this episode or a lot of different things, incorrect, even slightly incorrect, you can correct me, and that would be fine. But don't be dumb about it. Don't be goofy about it, I guess I could say in this context. So anyway, this is a glimpse into, I guess, old Hollywood. I I assume that Disney was related to Hollywood, although I'm not entirely sure. Disney is sort of a powerful force by now that it's sort of bigger than Hollywood. It's you know it owns so many different things that if you love something in the cinematic world or on TV, well, there's a chance that you're loving some Disney content because they own so much different stuff. But these were the humbler days of Disney. Now, if you're wondering how to watch it today, this short, your best bet is a place like YouTube, of course, or maybe a Disney Shorts collection, some retro cartoon DVD bundle, or maybe it's streaming on Disney Plus. I'm not sure. I know that I watched it. I saw it on YouTube, and I did enjoy it. So it's not always front and center, but it's out there, nestled among the classics and the oddballs alike. So next time you're in the mood for something short, snappy, and goofy in every sense, cue up They're Off. It's a brief but spirited run around the track, complete with racing tips that go nowhere and comedy that still lands 75 plus years later. So until next time, keep your reels rolling and your cartoon knowledge sharp. And this has been another installment of the cartoon time capsule, if you will. And I'll see you in the next frame. And oh my god, that sounds corny to say it like that. But, uh, you know, uh, bye bye, in other words.